Let's get into the game of the week. Me and Don talked about this. We said, you know what? Indiana, Illinois, it's got to be the game of the week. Number 19 Indiana versus number 9 Illinois. Got a lot of implications for the Big Ten in this one, man. And I got a lot of good information for you. This one was hard to pick. Where's T-Bass at, man? He said, I've been hating on Illinois. Just because I'm high on Darian Mintz and the way that Duke was playing. A couple things to note. Indiana's going to be missing one of their star running backs, Lee Beebe. Believe he transferred over from UAB, and there was a lot of big expectations for him. Tore his knee. He's going to be out for the rest of the season. Another thing to note, Illinois, who has a pretty good defense, they got several players out on the injury alert right now. A lot of them returning back to practice, but we'll see if they're healthy enough to play in the game. The real battle that we want to see is between these guys right here. Fernando Mendoza versus Luke Altmaier. Two of the best quarterbacks in college football statistically. I do feel a little bit different about one than I do the other. But let's get into Fernando Mendoza, who plays for Indiana. 55 for 76. 708 yards, 9 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. Actually, if you go and look at Luke Altmaier's stats, he's at a 71 completion percentage versus Fernando Mendoza at a 72. He's 56 for 78. Fernando's 55 for 76. He has 709 yards passing. Fernando has 708. Luke has 8 touchdowns and 0 interceptions, and Fernando has 9 touchdowns and 0 interceptions. So when we talk about matchups that are like statistics-wise that couldn't be more razor thin on who gets the advantage, for the box score watchers, they'll love that one and trying to determine who's going to be the better quarterback. But I think there's one better quarterback than the other. Versus Indiana State, Mendoza passed for 19 out of 20 passes for 270 yards and 6 total touchdowns, including 2 rushing touchdowns. He set an Indiana record for a 95% completion percentage. The one notable metric that I want to get from Mendoza is his ball placement and accuracy. He has weighed on target percentage of 68.16, which is considered excellent and puts him among the top quarterbacks in the 2026 NFL draft class through summer scouting. I can't tell you why I got that information. But his on-target percentage is short is 86%, over the middle, 78%, outside the numbers. Y'all know I like this stat in particular, 73%, and deep 50%. So he hasn't had a lot of time to, or a lot of chances to throw it down deep. And we're going to talk about, his deep ball accuracy is a little below average compared to the other Power 4 quarterbacks. We know that. But let's get over to Luke Altmaier, which is the opposite. He's wildly inaccurate downfield. So what you're going to see from Luke Altmaier is a little bit different on what Fernando Mendoza does. A lot more intermediate passes. What you're going to see from Luke is a lot more RPO. He plays really well when it comes to that. As far as like the NFL, they're going to love seeing a quarterback like him that's able to run the RPO. It's going to come with a lot of targets to a lot of different guys. And a ton of runs after catch. Go watch any game about Illinois. And then one thing that makes Luke Altmaier seem better than he actually is his receivers get a lot of burn after the catch. So not a lot to go off of there. I wish I could have had more advanced statistics on Luke Altmaier. It's hard to find. But Fernando Mendoza, the eye test will just tell you that there's one quarterback over the other. Let's get into Indiana's defense because we can't break it down. We talked about the offense a little bit, especially the quarterbacks. But the third down defense, the Hoosiers are ranked 8th. The Indiana Hoosiers are ranked 8th nationally with on third downs. 21.6% is what offenses usually are on third downs going against them. So what that tells me, they can get off the field very quickly and efficiently, get their offense down back on the field, and they get to go down and score. They rank 9th in total defense, 220 yards a game, 6th in scoring defense, 7.7 points per game nationally so far. We understand a lot of these teams that they've been playing have not been that good. And I want to say Amari Farrell and D'Angelo Pons have been absolutely magnificent for their defense. Let's get over to Illinois' defense. Illinois' defense has been stingy. 7.3 points per game through their first 3 matchups, which ranks among the top defenses nationally, as so Indiana. The defense, as far as turnovers, is what's been fantastic for them. 5 recovered fumbles through 3 games. That is the most in FBS football through week 3 so far. So they are number 1. Not a great pass defense, though, but they do limit touchdowns, which is really, really good. The one key component to Illinois' defense that kind of gives me some pause on how good Illinois can be. They have a strong pass rush. That's one of the key components of their defense. They accounted for 9 sacks and creating quarterback pressures. The defensive front as a whole has 12 pressures this year. So it's going to be a challenge for Fernando Mendoza. But here's the what me and Don think about this game, because we both agree. Indiana gets the win. I think Fernando Mendoza is actually more athletic than what he actually proves. Not the fact that Luke is not, but there's a better athlete on the field in this game, and that's going to be Fernando Mendoza. Omar Cooper and Elijah Surratt are exceptional weapons for Indiana. And I think that's what Illinois is lacking. They have Hank Beatty there, and he's pretty much their best receiver. There's nobody else. Indiana's running game is also dominant. 923 yards up to this point versus Illinois' 494. So Indiana is going to dominate up front in the running game. And by all accounts, I think Fernando Mendoza is just the better quarterback all the way around, like we talked about. And with pressures allowed as far as Illinois is concerned, this is going to be a problem for them even in this game. They're ranked 9th in the Big Ten as far as average pressures per game, which is at 7.1. So Luke Altmaier is going to be running around the field like crazy trying to make things happen. But if you only got one true weapon in Hank Beatty, while Elijah Surratt and Omar Cooper are there for Fernando Mendoza, yeah, we're going to have some problems on our hands, I think. I think it's going to be an instant classic, though. I think it comes down in the third quarter where a lot of decisions start to get made towards the end of that quarter, and then one team starts slowing down. The defense becomes too much for Luke Altmaier, and Indiana goes up maybe by 2 scores and ends the game out. And a lot of respect is had for Indiana's coach, and we really start thinking a little bit differently about the trajectory of the team that they can be. And I hope they shoot up the rankings, though, after this, because I know a lot of people love Illinois, and a lot of people think that a lot of people are disrespecting Illinois, but I've been on the opposite side. I think they're not bearing the sweetest of fruits on their side. So we'll see what happens.